Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Thoroughbred Underdog here, and we are back this week for another recording of my Thoroughbred thoughts on the things that occurred this week throughout wrestling. Now, that is one hell of an assimilation and tongue twister there that we should all try to say 10 times fast, right? I'm not going to try to repeat it again, but we are back nonetheless. Last week, I didn't want to do last weekend or Saturday, what have you, I didn't want to do recording because it was Mania week, Saturday and Sunday. And I try to do these things in chronological order, but I'm like, does it really matter if it's in chronological order, if it's just my quick thoughts on some of the things I saw and observed throughout the week? Be it through social media or through YouTube or through the actual streaming apps and television shows that depict the wrestling I viewed and consumed. But, when it comes down to it, I try to get from the beginning of my wrestling week, which is Saturday if there's a PLE, Sunday if there's a pay-per-view for AEW, and if there's neither, just Monday with Raw. But I just try to think about everything and take notes and opine on everything. And then when I do that, it usually includes the news from the day of recording too, prior to me doing the recording. Sometimes news breaks as I'm recording my little voice note here and upload it here to YouTube here. But nonetheless, let's get into it. So the thumbnail for today's recording is going to be the roast session transcript from the Tony Hinchcliffe roast that occurred at WrestleMania. And everybody's going nuts about it because that's what we do nowadays. We have a comedian say things about everybody because everybody wants to be included until they are included and somebody gets offended by things that were said. Now, I want to go out and say that I'm a very empathic person, and being empathic, you open your mind's optic to everybody's perspective. You try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and hear every side of the story and, understand both sides. And I could see how sometimes comedy, like you ever had somebody say something about you and then after they see you offended, they laugh and try to say it was a joke. It's like, damn, you got a fat ass nose, George. And, me, I wouldn't get offended by that because I know I got a big nose. It's in my blood. It's in my genetics to have a big nose. But, let's say I might not be in the mood to hear that. And somebody might say, I was just playing. They laughing. Well, that's what sometimes people look at comedy as, especially when people joke about race or women's weight. And really, it could be, a work shoot. They may really feel that way. They're just using the comedy as a disguise. Or, they're just trying to make something that's typically dark, bring some levity to it. So comedy isn't black and white. It's very open to many interpretations, and that's what happened here with the roast. You got Nia Jax saying shit about Charlotte and Cody Rhodes, and talking about Charlotte's marriages and her plastic body, and Cody and him being an Nepo baby and all this stuff. And you got Paul Heyman making jokes up there. And then, well, you see the transcript. And it's like, I guess because I was born in the early 90s, that growing up on Living Color and Chappelle's Show and a lot of the shows I grew up on had racial humor that probably wouldn't fly today. I'm not as offended by some of these things. I mean, hell, I was 15, y'all. And I remember my name for Muhammad Hassan and Daivari. And in lieu of these jokes, please don't get offended, because I prefaced it by saying it was a joke. But I was 15 years old, and my name for Daivari and Muhammad Hassan, I would say, and coming to the ring, weighing in a combined total of, 400 and blah, blah, blah pounds. From, Davari's really from Detroit, and Muhammad Hassan's really from New York. But for all intents and purposes, Saudi Arabia, or wherever they were built from, making their way to the ring, Muhammad Hassan and Khosrow Daivari, flight risk. And I thought it was the funniest shit ever, because I came up with that at 15. Their tag team was Flight Risk. But, when we grew up back then, we laughed at shit like this. And we laughed at the jokes that you see here on the screen with a thumbnail. And that's what I try to do. I'm not quite learned or erudite when it comes to like the video editing and making it where things appear, or posting the things right where I talk about a certain thing yet. I haven't put in time to. I always say, you don't have the times that you haven't made the time. So I haven't made the time to learn how to make it where, hey, I'm talking about this or that. And there's the picture to go with it. So what I'll do is I'll take one picture that resonated with me, or it's the main signature of the show, and make that be the thumbnail. But that was the talk of the town starting the week, was the roast. And almost more so, like when people were talking about Mania, remember when we was talking about Booker T's response to Swerve, and about how, hey, you should be out there talking about other things, because now they're talking about me and your beef with me more than they are the show. Y'all just had a pay-per-view. I feel like the roast and The Rock not showing up to Mania was talked about more than Mania itself. I mean, I thought it was WrestleMania, and I was already off last Saturday. And, it's Mania. It's like you treat it like a holiday. You treat it, like a sick day. It's the only pay-per-view, that and Royal Rumble, that really can warrant and garner that, type of attention. So I'm already off last Saturday, and then I rarely call off, but I called off for Sunday, and it was a 2-point day. It was 420. It was, if you believe the internet, the day that Donald Trump was going to enact martial law across the entire United States. It was, WrestleMania Sunday. It's 420. It's Easter. So, I rarely call off, and it was a 2-point day. And Mania was kind of mid, and then the end of it was anticlimactic. So I feel like it was a waste. And the roasts and The Rock not showing up was talked about more than the actual show. Now, the night one was a triple threat match, and beginning of the show with Gunther losing the championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, to Jay. And I feel like people are losing support for Jay, because quite a few things, people tend to go with the I'll have what he's having or she's having mentality when it comes to social media and internet, and start disregarding their own opinions to follow what everybody else is saying. So I feel like there's a little bit of that with Jay. Like, everybody's like, oh, people ain't feeling Jay no more, so I don't feel Jay no more. It's almost like, well, a follow or trend version of the Me Too movement. Oh, they don't like this, so I'm not going to like this. And I'm like, I still fuck with Jay. You know what I mean? I started liking Jay back when he first started having a singles run. And I ain't gonna lie, at first I was kind of like, he's going against Daniel Bryan. He's main eventing against Roman. It was an acquired taste. And then he organically gotten over. But the match itself it really wasn't much. Jay didn't really exhibit much in the way of new moves. And the build for it wasn't exactly rocking Austin going into it. But he won the championship, and Gunther's going to be out for a little bit. And then it takes a lot for me to remember what happened throughout the middle of the show. Because, I mean, you had Jay versus Naomi, and that should have been, to me, it was almost like the same thing with Randy Orton and Triple H. That should have been kind of what the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre match was. It should have been no holds barred, especially based on the beatdown that Jade gave Naomi when she returned to Elimination Chamber. And you got Naomi with this, I like it, this cool new proceed with caution thing she's got going on. I thought the Owen Hart attire with, you know, the danger and the caution tape was just going to be temporary, but that's what she's going with. She's going to stay with this look, and I like it. The way they've been going at each other on social media and stuff like that. The Revolution will not be televised, though. All we got on TV was them beating each other up with a few promos. I'm like, if you would have said some of the shit y'all said on Twitter or X on TV and them promos, oh yeah, it would have been crazy. But then you don't do that and then have like a match that's just, we're doing all these wrestling moves on each other instead of it looking like a fight. We've been making it look like a fight before this, but then the Mania match happens and it's like we're really trying to choreograph our moves, and at some points you could tell that I'm waiting for them to do their move. Like there was a point in that match where Jade and her were in the corner, and Naomi was supposed to jump on her so she could give her the fall away slam from one corner to the other. And there was literally a 4 to 5 second delay where they're communicating to each other like, hey, you ready? You ready? You ready? Okay, go. And I'm like, Jade needs to work on that. It was more Jade's fault than Naomi. I'm like, Jade needs to work on that. Like, making it so patently obvious, like, you're communicating to them, like, hey, go ahead, do your move. That's amateur shit. This ain't AEW no more. Where we got almost most of the people on TV performing this way. This is WWE now, and the eyes are watching. Everybody's watching, so you can't do that. Now, I know kayfabe is damn near dead and the rabbit's out the hat, but we can't get in the ring and show them, like, hey, we're really performing up in here. We got to make it look smooth, and even though it's a performance, the art of wrestling is to make it look like it isn't. Make it look like a real fight as closely as we can. I think Jim Cornette said it, simulating violence safely. That's why he's one of my favorite podcasters. Everything he says makes sense. So, yes, I am a Cornette fan, and I hope that doesn't sway you guys from me, because we all got our own opinions and stuff like that. I mean, some of y'all like JD from New York. And I don't, turn away from you guys. And I just think he's really obnoxious. But we all got our taste. So I remember from night one, the main event, that Jade versus Naomi match, and the main event, the triple threat, which Seth, Paul Heyman joining each other was not the thought that everybody was thinking about. I mean, but it's basically letter E. When you think it's just going to be A, B, C, and D, it was letter E. Like, nobody was too much saying this is the way that things were going to happen. But that now, I guess you could say, is the end of the Bloodline saga, because Roman is now completely divested from every member of the Bloodline. Heyman was the last remnant of him having somebody from the Bloodline beside him. I mean, yeah, he reconciled with Sami and the Usos, but, that was a one-off for the War Games match. And then he had Heyman, and now Heyman's not with him, and now it pretty much show like, hey, he is now a king without a tribe, or whatever Cody said in that promo. A chief without a tribe. So I think that really, if you think about it, is the end of the Bloodline saga. And now we got the original Bloodline saga, if you ask me. And Jacob Fatu winning the United States Championship from LA Knight. I remember that too. Like, match-wise, I'm happy with a lot of results, but I don't remember much that happened in the matches. From night 1, night 2, the Charlotte and Tiffy match dragged. And, listening to other people and podcasts or shows, it's like, Charlotte does have a rep for, like, the matches might be long and drawn out, and at the end you either like, damn, that was a really good match, or confused about it, but you really can't say it was bad. You could say it took a while to get good, and then at the end of it's like, based on the battle scars and the wear and tear and the results, it's like, that was actually a good match. Charlotte makes bitches work for it. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody, listen to other shows and like, yeah, she did that with Ronda. That match was kind of long and drawn out, but it looked like a battle at the end. She did it with Rhea a few years back. That match looked, it was a little bit long and drawn out. By the end, everybody was saying it was one of the best Mania matches ever, because her matches take a while to build up. You see, like that was a very physical, enduring battle. So Charlotte did that with Tiffy, broke her teeth, made her chip her teeth. Tiffy had like a knot on her head. Her face looked like the new battle damage system in 2K25. So, there were some good matches on the card, but I think the end of it fucked it up. And the best matches for me was a triple threat, the Fatal 4-Way, because of Dom. Like, I think the results of matches, like I say, were bigger than the matches and better than the matches themselves. And that's why I'm like, Naomi and Jade should have been booked like the match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And that match was okay for me. Because the build for it was like, didn't get me invested at all. I felt so forced, because we went from having Drew being the bloodline hunter to now he's just so upset that he got eliminated by Damian Priest. So the build for that just felt so forced to me. And it just felt like, hey, we're going to put you guys together because we really don't have anything else for you. So let's just put y'all together. Same way they do with, now they're doing it with Jacob Fatu, Drew, and LA Knight and Priest, where they're having what's seemingly going to be a fatal 4-way for the newly crowned Jacob Fatu having a United States Championship. They put you together, two people together, and force a feud when they don't have anything for them. And sometimes the matches suffer for it because, like, people don't have the emotional investment in the feud. And the match might actually be good, but it's like, you go into the match like, I don't really care about this. And sometimes it takes away from the match from you, because it's like, the drama didn't sell them being this barbaric to each other. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't feel that, you know what I mean, from Drew and Damian Priest. And now they were just put together, and now we're doing it with multi-man matches. So it's like, that's their trope. That's their motions. Like, when we don't have anything for people, we make them be the tag team champions for a long time. We put them together in a makeshift tag team. We put them in multi-man matches. We send them down to NXT. We pair them with somebody that they feuded with before and make it seem like they hate each other more than they do. The Fatal 4-Way was good because Dom won. Dom is getting over. It's so weird that he's getting over as a babyface because he's so hateable as a heel. And I feel like they always got to go the route of, well, he's a babyface now. Let's turn him babyface. He's getting these reactions. I'm like, but Dom's getting booed because he's so good of a heel. You know what I mean? And it's just like they can't do that all the time because people are getting booed. I'm not saying do it as long as they did with Cena. He was getting booed so long from 2006. I feel like I started noticing Cena getting booed when they started doing the Marine shit with him. He had the Marine movie. And so like 2006 when he started feuding with Triple H too. So it's like, I'm not saying let the diminishing return set in where it's like, damn, we're going to wait this long before we turn him heel and listen to the boos that he's been receiving. Which ultimately add to the prestige of how long Cena dealt with it and could sell the fact that he dealt with it as long as he did. But you can't do it as often. You know what I mean? With everybody. I feel like people are cheering Dom because they're recognizing how good in the ring he is. And that, wow, he's a really good chicken shit heel. But, damn, like, I don't think Finn's going to get babyface reactions if he turns on Dom or beats Dom. So maybe now you got to pivot because it looked like originally Finn was going to be the one that was going to be the babyface out of this. But now I feel like they're going to pivot and make Dom be the one become babyface. I mean, him and Liv are so good together. I feel like they're a real couple. I feel like we about to have another Triple H and Stephanie situation here, or another Kevin Sullivan, Chris Benoit, and Nancy Benoit situation here, where they look so damn good. It's like, fuck, you forget they actually, well, Liv is, I guess, single still, and Dom is with, he's actually married. And it's like, damn, he took pictures with his wife. I'm like, damn, I thought you and Liv were really, y'all look that damn good together. And she's so improved in the ring. I feel like this Judgment Day thing is the height of her. I feel like Judgment Day put so many people over. Like, for a team that when it first happened, everybody's like, it's so cringy. It's not good. It really got a lot of motherfuckers over if you really think about it. It got JD over because of that match where he used his resiliency, payback. It's got Dom over. Like a lot of people that prior to Judgment Day were considered dry, no character, boring, generic. It's really gotten a lot of people over. Like it got Carlito over as a really good comedy character. It made people care about Raquel being an enforcer. Her chemistry with Liv, which people forget they were tag team champions before Judgment Day. They kind of like retconned the fact that Rhea was the heel who attacked Liv and gaslit us into believing that Liv was the bad guy and Rhea was the good person. But it got Rhea over way more than she did. I mean, this was what made Rhea become what everybody knew she was going to one day become, a star in the company. It got me to like Liv because Liv to me was just a more competent in the ring version with less character, Alexa Bliss. But this gave her character. This gave her memes. This gave her screen time. It showed that she could actually go in the ring. It got Liv over. It's got everybody over in that group. Maybe Finn to a less extent because people are kind of, I feel like Finn was honestly at his best doing his first run in NXT. And he had an opportunity to be a lot more over when he won the United States, Jesus Christ, the Universal Championship, but his shoulder got broken. And I feel like injuries and Vince McMahon booking kind of fucked up Finn on the main roster for a little bit. That's why he went back and had an NXT run and got his mojo back for a little bit. And I think initially when he joined Judgment Day, it was really good, but I feel like he is like the least over member of the group now. It's gotten a lot. I think Judgment Day might go in the Hall of Fame one day. I'm just saying it right now. Because if you look back and look at how over and how much color it gave people that were black and white, it gave people some purple and black, you'd be like, damn, I actually did get a lot of those people over. But I digress, and I'm 25 minutes in. Hindsight, Mania was mid. It sucked because of the climax. Nobody cares about Travis Scott without The Rock. It's like, yeah. And Cena winning the 17th, I feel like now is as good a time as any. The match itself wasn't really that good. Cena, I guess, is going to go minimalist and not do as many moves. Kind of reminds me of like early Miz before he started to show that he could do some moves, or like early Alexa Bliss or early Baron Corbin, where they just don't do a lot of moves. And, maybe you could say that's them, to bore the crowd and not to appease the audience, because the crowd loves spots and loves moves. So he's working a more minimalist move set now, and using more simpler moves. And that's the thing. A lot of heels move sets, they do, moves to keep the good guy down, kicks to the faces, punches, rest holds, because they know that bores the crowd, taunts. I feel like if you implemented exactly what heel's moveset was into the wrestling games, it'd be like playing one of the early Nintendo 64 or Nintendo Super Nintendo wrestling games where you only got 5, buttons and commands that make up the bulk of that person's repertoire, because heels don't really do a lot of moves anyway, or flashy moves. Even Ric Flair was 5 moves, the flop, the counter to him doing something from the top if he regularly hit the top rope move, the figure four, which quite honestly Flair never really won a lot of matches with, chop, maybe poke to the eye, and chop block, so maybe 6. But yeah, Mania was kind of mid. The roast was what everybody was talking about. As far as everything else, I have some thoughts on. You all need to go and see the Karrion Kross promo that he did. I will link that. And I mean it this time, because I'm a big Kross fan. I like Kross. And, I tend to gravitate to wrestlers who try to do things, because I'm a producer myself, not a literal producer, but I make my own shit. I come up with things on my own. I always come up with my own ways of doing things. And I liked wrestlers like, Kross, early Zack Ryder when he had his show in 2010, 2011, the Z True Long Island Stories. I like people that's kind of self-made and do their own thing and get over on their own. Because I like that. I'm like that in a way too. And Kross had all this great production on his promos, on his YouTube channel, that he did on his own, without the production brass of a major company. It's kind of impressive, like having like a rapper who maybe sold 100,000 mixtapes out of the trunk of their car, or 10,000 mixtapes out of the trunk of their car, without a major label backing. Kind of like Nipsey Hussle did. A lot of Memphis rappers did back in the day. It's like, that's admirable. You did this all on your own. So I like Kross because he's self-made. That Kross character and the TikTok and shit like that, and the hourglass thing, came up with on his own with a lot of inspiration, I'm sure. So I could respect that. And not only that, but he's very personable and interactive with the fans on his Instagram. It's like him and Brian Cage, and Shane Taylor are very, very interactive with the fans on Instagram. If you're cordial to them, respectful. And I like that, because anything good doesn't have to be done. It's a choice. And you respect people for making that choice because it's a healthy choice. And it's a good choice. And it's mind being put into it to make that choice. And they don't have to do that. You know what I mean? But they do. And I like that. So that's what made me gravitate to Kross. Plus, I like the character, I like the look, and the believability of it. Kross could use a little bit more work in the ring because he doesn't really do a lot of moves. He's kind of one of those guys who centers their moveset around specific moves and variations of it. Like he's kind of like a suplexer. In the same vein as like a Taz or a Perry Saturn or even a Brock. More so because Brock only really did Germans. Kross really only does like Saitos and T-Bones. And occasionally a German suplex. But, I don't really think about movesets much when I think of Kross. I think about the character work and stuff like that. And I like seeing that he's getting over. But he's only on a 1-year contract. As far as news about contract renewals, word is that he's only signed like a 1-year extension or something like that. And I hope that he could get over and, work with more big names. Like he's working with AJ, but they worked with AJ already on SmackDown. They had like a 1-minute match one time. It's like, really, that's all you give them? But now they're working on Raw, and they're showing a little bit more character work within it. And Kross did a hell of a promo. I don't even remember the name of the show. That's like the thing, like when these memes or these moments happen, you don't ever remember like the host or the show until later. Just like the Hot Tour girl, like nobody knows the guy, or because it was for him to get over. And all you now know is Hot Tour. You got to spit on that thing, you know what I mean? So with Kross, it's like nobody really remembers the host or the show that it took place on. It's, it's the promo, and it was 2 minutes long, and it was so much like a shoot. You got to see this. I'm going to link this. Like I said, I won't forget because it's Kross. And he likes the same show that I do. He's a longtime fan of the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle show like I was. So we relate a lot in that aspect. And just mostly the camaraderie he has with his fans is like, yeah, I want to see this dude win. And I'm going to buy his book. But I prefer the audiobook version. So hopefully he does the audible version of it. Returns this week. Like I say, don't really too much got to be in chronological order. Aleister Black returned on SmackDown. He came back doing the Miz segment. And Miz is like the gatekeeper now. It's like what Barry Corbin was for NXT with like all the indie wrestlers coming in. He'd be like one of their first matches. Him and Chris Hero were like the gatekeepers who had their first matches with debuting wrestlers and stuff like that. Miz is like that for WWE on the main roster. So Aleister Black comes back, and I was so thrilled that they gave him his original thing. They didn't Def Rebel him like they did Rusev, because I think Rusev would have got a bigger pop, not only when they saw the name on the screen, because he came back Monday and wrecked everybody, wrecked the whole Alpha Academy. If he would have had that original thing, I think it would have made everybody pop a little bit louder. But Aleister Black didn't get Def Rebeled here, and I'm happy about that. Came back with his original presentation and look. His bridge is a little bit more trim. And the OG music is back. I was happy about that the same way I was happy when Rock came back and he had the Hollywood thing. And we'll get back to Rock in a little bit. We'll revisit The Rock and his reason for not showing up, which I won't speak much on because there's no reason. But Aleister Black came in, and Miz tried to approach him, and he got black masked. And, you know, the cool thing, which is a cool touch too, speaking about title changes, Zelina Vega beat Chelsea Green for the United States Championship, the Women's United States Championship, on the same night her husband returned to the company. And I'm like, they're doing this on purpose. Y'all know what y'all doing. The same way when Aleister Black had the promo, the vignette, Zelina Vega was in the ring when it aired, and she was pointing to this guy like, my man's coming back. This will be me and my man up in here. But, you know, her occultist Poppy is what I like to say he is. I think that was a nice touch. I think that was a good welcome back gift. Like, they have him come back, and then they give his wife the United States Championship. And I know Zelina, she's just a doll. She's just so, like, emotional. She was very clumped in the back from all of it. Like, my husband comes back, I win my first belt. She was just tearing up. Because Zelina's a sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's going to get her over, too. Like, she won her first championship. And it's like Triple H is all about making things right and redemption. And it doesn't work with everybody. Like, he wanted to make things right for all the people that got released by Vince during COVID and have them come back and actually get a run. And, you know, he'd give people title runs and proper returns to make up for it. And I think he wanted to do right by Zelina because she got fucked over by Vince not being able to perform, I think, on September the 11th show dedicated to her father. And because he had passed, unfortunately, in September 11th attacks. And he felt bad about her getting released because of the union comments or what have you. And, you know, all the shit with Twitch, whatnot. Which I wonder if any of y'all listening, do they still have that in place where people can't have the Twitch channels and stuff like that? Or did they, under the new Paul Levesque era, get more lenient about that? And that's what I'm wondering. But I think he wanted to make right by everybody. Like I said, it didn't work with everybody. Authors of Pain didn't work with. They were washed. Not the same Authors of Pain. And they kind of had the Abyss thing going on with them where it's like, y'all too fucking big to be selling for these little motherfuckers. And stuff like that. But I'm glad to have them in 2K25. I'm actually going to give them their old theme because I don't like their new Def Rebel theme in the game. But he wants to do right by Aleister Black. He wants to do right by Rusev. He did right by Shawn Spears. And then he wants to treat these, you know, AEW exilees who are coming in and show them a better way too. I mean, even with Jade Cargill, who she has her spots in matches where it looks like she's getting better, but it's also very like green amateur hour shit that she does too, where like, yeah, you could tell she's like communicating, like she's literally looking at her opponent and as they're coming at her and not moving, just looking at them coming to do the move on her. I'm like, that is just started to learn how to wrestle type shit. But they're working with her and they're being patient with her, and she might actually improve like Nia did, like Liv did, Maxine Dupree has, like the Meta girl, the taller one, I can't think of her name, not Jakara, but Lash Legend has. You know, I like how WWE gives a little bit of room of improvement, but also like, hey, if you're not improving, we have to let you go, like they did with Aaliyah and a lot of others. But you know, they're being patient with people to see him improve. And like I said, Lash Legend and Maxine Dupree are two people that had some of the worst matches you ever seen, and now they're way better in the ring now. Lash Legend is way better in the ring. She's come a long way since that match with Saray. And Maxine Dupree has come a long way too. I still think she is a perennial comedy character. I'll be shocked if she's anything other than a perennial comedy character. But I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people I didn't see being where they are. And, you know, not for nothing, it's a lot of people that get a lot of flack. I'm like, she's one of the better people in the ring. Like Zoe Stark, I will go to bat for. She is one of the better workers they got in a company, low-key. But you can't tell because she doesn't have a character. She's trying to get a character. She's trying to be like a right to censor Ivory type. If you look at her on X, and I feel like a lot of y'all are getting work because you think she's legitimately upset about the attires of wrestlers and shit like that, when she's really trying to work a gimmick. And they should put it on TV. Like, let her be like the new Ivory, you know what I mean, on TV. That's why I'm like, the Revolution will not be televised or on streaming media because it's on X. And if you put some of this shit on TV, these people might actually get over. But, you know, I'm happy Zelina won her first championship. Real title probably was, her first one was probably the Queen of the Ring. Queen Zelina. But her first championship in WWE is the United States Championship, which is, she's the second ever women's United States champion. And, you know, some people may feel like Chelsea didn't get the chance to really do much with it. She didn't defend it very much. And she's just starting to get going with, you know, the Secret Hervis. Sounds like a vaginal disease or something like that. She's got Hervis. But Chelsea is the type that she can make anything happen with what you give her. She's just excellent. Like, she's the female R-Truth. Anything she does on screen will definitely entertain you. And they finally had a small little interaction this week with R-Truth and John Cena, and Cena just looked him up and down, walked off. But you know that ass kicking is coming. And I don't know if Truth is gonna turn heel like Cena has, or just do his regular in denial about everything gimmick. But whatever him and Cena do is gonna be gold, because Truth is gold. I mean, I love R-Truth. He can make anything happen. And I can't wait to see what they do with him and Cena. I'm glad that we're getting Cena versus Orton one last time. I thought there's another promo you guys need to watch this week. 3 segments this week. All right, if you don't get anything out of this, you're going to get 3 links to the 3 segments I think you should watch. Kross's promo, Cena and Orton's promo, the MJF and Hurt Business promo was probably the funniest one yet. Because MJF is another motherfucker that you just, it seems like he's not where he should be, but where he's at, he makes the most of it. And maybe the 4th would be, if you want to see the returns of Rusev and Aleister Black, I would say the segment with Paul Heyman, Punk, Roman, Braun Breaker, and Seth. They are now a unit. And I wonder if there's going to be a 4th member of that unit. Maybe Becky, because she just turned heel literally a day after Mania and helping Lyra Valkyria win the championships. And I guess they're going to go with that feud being that there's only one Irish lass who has 2 belts around here. And that's me. But now Lyra doesn't have 2 belts anymore. So she could kind of it's a natural rivalry. She could do this thing where she's jealous of Lyra and, you know, they're trying to have you replace me and stuff like that. And Lyra could start off being, like, hurt and, like, not understanding why she's getting her ass beat by her idol. And then maybe it could give her a little bit of an edge. Maybe she could go from being, like, a swan to, like, a vulture now. So she's the bird lady. and maybe it get fans to start liking her. Because I always like Lyra. I think she's cute as hell. I love the bird gimmick because it's outstanding. And I know you guys are like, well, everything that stands out or isn't like everything else doesn't make it good. For me, I like Lyra. She's very competent in the ring. She could go. I think she's cute as hell. And, I like her character. And based on the background, what she said about her character, like it's Irish lore. And I think, honestly, I would love to see Megan Bang come to WWE and them feud because of their similar looks. I think it'd be like a battle. Like it looks like it'd be an epic battle because you got Megan Bang's got like the evil She-Ra thing going on, and she's like an Amazon, and then you got Lyra as like the plucky underdog going against this goddess type woman. I just, me being a fan of anime and Dragon Ball Z and shit like that, and Saint Seiya, I think that'd be a cool little feud. But going back to it, yeah, you need to see the MJF and Hurt Business promo. You need to see Cena and Orton because Cena, this just always grumpy, shit face, resting bitch face thing she's got going on. This, I'm tired of all of you. You know what I mean? You guys make me sick. You know what I mean? Things he's got going on. It's just hilarious to me, the way he's going about it. It took me a while to get to this point with the Cena heel turn. And maybe the in-ring work will eventually match the promos. And I love the realness of it. Like, even acknowledged, like, look at you guys booing this man. He gave you all of this. Like, they were booing Cody. And it's like, look at you. Like, he was empathizing for Cody. Like, this is what you all do. You turn on everybody. And then he started dissing people's kids and calling people's kids' dads losers. And I'm loving heel Cena. But I'm loving the delivery of how he's doing it. And, like, Orton's out there. He's, like, all carefree. Like, man, you need to have some kids, bro. And Cena's like, how dare you? Well, the reason I don't have kids is because for the past 25 years, I've been raising yours. I love just pissed off, I can't stand you people, Cena. I love it. So you guys need to see that. And then the other segment, like I said, you need to see, to a lesser extent, there was one of Trick Williams just crashing out backstage at Ava because he's getting punked out. He's basically getting Io Shirai, like, getting done to him like what Io Shirai was between Rhea and Bianca. He's having that happen to him by Obafemi and the young OG, Javon Evans. And he's angry about it. And everybody thought he was going to be a leader of Dark State. I'm glad they didn't go that. That would have been too predictable. I like Trick on his own. And me personally, I don't know about y'all, but the way Trick is dressing with the shoes and the leather pants, I think they should give Trick a Pootie Tang gimmick. And I'm not just saying that because he's black, because I'm black too. And back in the hood, 57 Shields, Chicago, South Side, one of our hood classics, along with Friday, along with, the Black Knights and the whole Friday trilogy, really. Dead Presidents, low-key, South Central, but also low-key on the comedic side, CB4 and fucking Pootie Tang. Not fucking Pootie Tang, I wouldn't dare. But Pootie Tang was a classic. And, man, that movie sure was a classic. If you know, you know. Like, fucking J.B. Smooth's character in the movie. But, hey, maybe you could give Trick his own J.B. Smooth. But I think he should have a Pootie Tang gimmick. I think they should give him a Pootie Tang gimmick. He should have the belt, and he got the cadence for the run that Henny on the penny style, or whatever Pootie would say, like, just give him the glasses, because he already got the glasses. And maybe you could have his hair, like, being a perm. Give him, like, that jacket. And give him, like, the shoes. And he already wear the leather pants. And give him that belt. and give him a Pootie Tang gimmick. I think he'd get over. That shit would crack me up if they did that. Like, Trick would be my favorite fucking wrestler. If they did that. But, cause I already like Trick, but if you give him a Pootie Tang gimmick, oh, it's a wrap. But you need to see, I wouldn't say you need to see it, but he was just crashing out. And it just made me like, you know what? Them leather pants on, he'd be perfect for a Pootie Tang gimmick. I got a joke for y'all real quick before I get on back to like some of the things with The Rock and the other segments you need to see. Knock, knock. And this is the part where you say, who's there? And I say, Ari Manuel. And you say, Ari Manuel who? Ari manual transmission or stick shift? I came up with that when I was doing the parking lot, clean up the parking lot earlier today at McDonald's. I be thinking about random shit because if I only got one headphone in or I don't got no headphones, all I'm doing is left to my own, thoughts. And I come up with random shit, especially with the McDonald's coffee up, man. I came up with that joke. I'm like, I'm going to say this in my recording tonight. And at that moment, whoever's listening, the very few people in attendance, and the tens of the Georgia's fans, the tens and the tens, I can't even say millions. I don't even have enough syllables to say thousands or millions like The Rock does. I got tens of people listening probably would tune off because of that Ari Emanuel joke and the Pootie Tang gimmick suggestion for Trick Williams. But I just be all over the place. I say what's on my mind. And I think that's why I like doing it this way, recording instead of being on the camera, because I got the HBK eye thing going on and I wander off. One eye's looking at the phone and you guys, the other end's looking out the balcony. But I get to talk. I just talk. So the MJF and Hurt Business segment is getting linked because you got to see it. MJF, man, just let that man be an honorary black man for once. Just let him join the Hurt Business. Let him in. Let him in, man. Let him in. Give him a thumbs up. He get my thumbs up after he had all them fine-ass bitches last week. I ain't gonna say fine-ass bitches. Fine-ass women. Let's not be a dog here. He would have got my thumbs up. He would have got 2 thumbs up. Even Ann Roper, like Drake said. Yeah, I'm certainly a light-skinned motherfucker. Quoting Drake from, not only Drake, but Drake from like a decade ago. He'd get my thumbs up from the women he gave me last week if I was Shelton and Bobby Lashley and MVP. But this week he had a segment and he got a thumbs up from Shelton finally. But Shelton's like, look, you better thank MVP for this thumbs up. MVP is always going to give him thumbs up because he sees a lot in Max. They're businessmen. And it's funny stereotypical undertones in this because, stereotypes about Jewish folks and Max being Jewish and MVP being like kind of like a fucking a used car salesman type businessman. He just gives like shady businessman type vibes. And him and Maxwell Jacob Freeman, like, oh, we see eye to eye. We both kind of, shiesty businessman motherfuckers. But, so he gives his thumbs up. But he wants a thumbs up from Lashley. So it's like, look, you see that car I came in with? Because MGF had arrived in the building, a nice-ass car. That car, you can have that car. Let's go to the back and look at it. And then Bobby Lashley's like, where's the keys? It's like, you know what? Come on, let's go to the back. So they like cut to them going to the back. And Shelton and Bobby's looking at the car. And he's like, yeah, get a look at it. So they start getting in the car. MJF's like, yeah, I get it. You want to get a feel for the comfort, the leather comfort seats and stuff like that. Okay. Start getting real comfortable and putting the key in the car. He's like, P, why are they getting comfortable? Why are they getting comfortable in the car? And he's like, okay, Bobby, just give me a thumbs up. And then they start driving off just a little bit. He's like, hey, wait, Bobby, you gotta give me a thumbs up before you drive off, bud. And just give me a thumbs up. And MJF, there's like a slight pause for him and MVP. MJF's got his hands on his hips. He's like, Bobby's like, gas thumbs in the middle, and then he goes down, drives the fuck off. It was the funniest shit ever. And then MJF is like, are you kidding me? What? You got to see it. I know I say, because I'm a procrastinator by nature, and as you can see, I ramble a lot. But I'm going to put that in the link. Like, that and the, I already forgot the other things. But the Cena segment and the Braun Breaker and the Kross promo are definitely getting linked in this one. You got to see that one, though. It will make you laugh your ass off. This whole MJF thing, there are like 5 people that get me to tune into AEW. Kenny Omega, because I love Kenny. I actually like the Death Riders angle. This is the part where you really could like do the tangled me with me and like shoot the arrows at me. So I like the Death Riders. I don't know about Joe. You kind of gotta have Joe beat him because the ops are kind of getting over, like, and they because of believability. Like Joe is just such a fucking good promo everywhere he goes. I love Samoa Joe. That dude is fucking convincing as fuck, and his promos, he's just like one of the best promos in the business when he's allowed to go on the mic. And if you would have had him actually be able to back up his promos, him and Bray back in that WWE runs, if you actually would have had them be able to back up their promos, they would still be considered, they'll be considered even better in the business now. But they lost most of their feuds. They delivered all these promos selling you on them going to win, and then he lose. But promo and the ops, Joe and the ops are getting over because you believe them. Like you can believe Shibata, even though if you look up his MMA record, not so good, but his toughness in ring and stuff like that. Like, if you didn't know he was in MMA, it's like, yeah, this dude is badass. Like, he broke his brain, you know what I'm saying? Broke his skull and stuff like that, doing headbutts and stuff like that. And you kind of look at that like, yeah, you overdoing the act a little bit. We know, like, it's kayfabe, but damn, bro, like, you're tough to come back from that. Same thing with Vader. Like, you guys, I popped down the match. It's like, damn, he put that motherfucker right back in, continue to wrestle a match that we know is rehearsed and, you know, they're not legitimately hurting each other. They are, but not trying to, you know, deliberately hurt each other. We know that that's the performance art of the wrestling. So you could buy Shibata as a badass. Even with him having not the best MMA record, you could buy him as a badass. Then you got Joe, who's completely believable as a badass. And then you got big-ass Real Hobbs, who just looks like he could be the epitome of the, does he look like the bitch, like a bitch meme? Like, he does not look like a bitch. Real Hobbs looks like a motherfucker that you do not want to fuck with. So that's what's getting the ops over. And then you got Hook, who is probably... I like Hook, you know what I mean? But of the 4 of them, it's like he's like the least convincing badass. And I think that kind of took away from it a little bit. It's like, Hook is not the most believable badass, but he probably could hold his own in a fight and really choke somebody out. And he's 20-something, whatnot. So he's like, he's, I almost called him a YN. But hey, back in the day, we should think Taz was black, so until we saw like his most recent baby picture, and New Jack's like, he was a white boy from Queens, you know what I'm saying? He's got a really good tan, and then, you know, we eventually found out that Taz wasn't a bitch, but he wasn't exactly a tough guy he was portrayed to by his gimmick. So I feel like Hook's kind of got that thing going too, where his shit looks like a more portrayal, but these other 3 guys, they're going to get over. But I like them in the Death Riders. So to go back, and once we keep on track with a point here, The only things that keep me tuned into AEW, clip-wise, is the MGF Hurt Business shit. Anything Tony Storm does. Megan Bang. And Kenny and Ospreay. That's it. But hey, at least it's something that gets me to tune in. I don't really care for anything else. I like the Death Riders. I tune into what they do because I like Moxley. I've always liked Moxley. And, you know, a lot of people don't right now. They think this is his worst run in the AEW to date. But I like him. So other things we're going to get to. Like I said, you got to see the Kross promo. We covered that. You got to see the MGF Hurt Business promo. You got to see Orton versus Cena. Monday, you got to see the promo between Paul Heyman and him anointing Seth as his new guy. And that leading to Punk coming out attacking Seth. And, you know, Punk getting stumped out by Rollins. And then Roman comes out, takes out Seth with a spear. He's about to get his hands on Paul Heyman after giving him a Superman punch. And right when he's about to spear him, Braun Breaker comes in and gives Roman a spear. And not only once, but he gave him one through the barricade too. Everybody knows Braun's a fucking future. When I first saw Braun debut on NXT and he kind of hammed it up, sounding a lot like Scott, I'm like, this guy's got charm to him, a look to him, and his moveset. It's like a mix of like both of the Steiners mixed with Goldberg and Kurt Angle. I'm like, yeah, this guy's going to be a fucking monster. This guy's going to be World Heavyweight Champion probably by the end of this year, early next year. I don't know. Like, I could probably see him being the one to beat Jay for the championship. Maybe they revisit that rivalry now for a major championship because they had the little short Intercontinental Championship rivalry. I mean, Braun lost the Intercontinental Championship to Jay, and Jay added a little bit of color to the Intercontinental Championship, and Braun beat him back for it by distraction of the Bloodline, which led to Jay joining Bloodline for War Games. Putting differences aside with Roman just for that match. So maybe they could revisit it for the World Heavyweight Champion. Braun be the one who beat him at SummerSlam for it. I don't know. They might do Sammy versus Jay at Backlash, and maybe they could do that for SummerSlam. I don't know, because there's the history there and whatnot. But I don't feel like it should be a heel versus heel thing. Let Sammy be a face for a little bit. He just turned back face not too long ago. 2 years ago now. A little bit, 2 years ago, really. Because you had WrestleMania 39 was when him and KO won the championships from the Usos. So, yeah, it hasn't been that long. He was heel for a while. So I don't want him to be heel in this if they do have him versus Jay. Let it be babyface versus babyface and keep that brotherhood and that camaraderie they had. Because, you know what I mean? But Braun is the fucking man. And my thing, going back to the Intercontinental Championship, I wanted to, because I do the whole figures thing too. I'm a wrestling fan through and through, like completely. I fuck with the figures. I go to shows, maybe not as much as I used to because Chicago is just so dangerous. Even though most of the Chicago events is downtown or surrounding Chicago or Rosemont, so it's not exactly in Chicago. It's kind of, the violence escalated. It's kind of swayed me from not going to Chicago shows as much. And I'm out here in Indiana, so we got ARW, but I don't get to even go to their shows in Lake Station as much. I missed them doing Like a Hunger shows. Hopefully those can come back, because they haven't had those since before COVID. But I'm a wrestling fan through and through, so I mess with the figures. I mess with the games. I watch the streaming shows. I listen to the podcasts. I don't really have a lot of merch outside the figures. Like, I don't have any championships or anything like that. Can't afford them right now. I'm going to do a Chris Bay. I can't afford them yet. I got that from him in his interview with CBV. But back to Braun. So they just showed off a lot of the figures WrestleMania weekend. And I'm like, damn, my wallet is never just going to recover. And they showed off a new Braun with, like, the tiger stripe. And he's going to come with an Intercontinental Championship. But they're also doing a Jey Uso that comes with the Intercontinental Championship, and it's the current design with the blue in the middle. And I'm like, damn, y'all kind of like made it a choice to get this Braun figure here. If you want the belt, that's really the only thing you get in. If you like the attire, I guess. We haven't had the definitive Braun yet. And they're coming out with figures. He's had like 5 figures already. He's had the one with the black attire with the full beard. He's got the one with the pink, and then you got the chase for that. And now you're about to have the tiger stripe one. And then I think they had another NXT one before the one with the pink. Maybe that was his first one. I'm not sure. But he's had a couple of figures already. And then they already coming out with one with an old IC championship. And it's like, if you just want the championship, you're just going to buy the J. Because we already had a few with the newer design Intercontinental Championship. But anyway, let's see what I haven't gotten to here and come to a close here. All my episodes, damn near hour and 30 minutes. Talked about Mania. Just to get to the Rock shit. Oh, and NXT. NXT I didn't really see a lot of this week. I didn't really go out to see a lot of clips. But Julia's still a heel. They had her, because Mania after Raw was awesome. But they, I guess, going to stick with Julia staying a heel. And I guess it makes sense, because as a babyface, she wasn't getting over like with the fans like Stephanie was. And Julia's one of the best workers in the business if you see her Japan work. So I think she'll get the fans eventually. They want her to be like Asuka. You can even see that in the presentation, but it just didn't work. So her being a heel, and she's got her original like hairstyle people were accustomed to her having her best run with and starting with. I think she'll do better as a heel. I just weird her and Roxy teaming up. I guess it was just your mutual enemy thing, because they both attacked like Roxy. Roxy attacked Roxy. Roxanne and Julia attacked Stephanie Recur and Io after they had a very good teaser of a match. It's like, damn, we're getting Io versus Stephanie. That's a night after Mania match, like. And we might now get Io and Stephanie teaming up to go against Julia and Roxanne Perez. But then they had Rhea come out and it's like, you didn't really have to have Rhea involved in this. So I want to see where they're going to go with this. But that's the only thing I really cared about with NXT is that I guess they're going to continue to have Julia and Stephanie feud, and now Stephanie and Jordan Grace and others, because they had to beat Roxanne Perez clean on NXT this week. So The Rock, to keep it laconic, just him not showing up kind of fucked Mania up, the ending of it, because that's really what a lot of people were looking forward to. Hell, there's people just waiting to get through night one just to see what we were going to do with The Rock's involvement with Cena, and who's going to be the third guy, because it's got to be, Cena, Rock, and it can't be Travis Scott, right? Even though the word is he's trying to become a wrestler. It's got to be a third actual wrestler, right? Well, it was none of that. Orton even turned on Cody. It was Orton versus Joe Hendry, which I was happy to see Joe. To see where Joe came from, just being on What Culture, to now having a match at WrestleMania as the TNA champion. I don't care if he lost in like 4 minutes. Still a huge endorsement. You know what I'm saying? For the TNA championship. And most TNA champions would lose to Randy Orton. It's Randy fucking Orton. You know what I'm saying? So, but most of us thought we were going to get Orton turn on Cody at the end of Mania. And we were going to have Austin interact with The Rock. And then instead, they had Stone Cold Steve Austin come out on ATV half drunk to announce the attendance. He was only there because he was there for the Bret Hart match induction. And then I ain't gonna say crash into that fan because he didn't hit the fan at all. She sold it late because it's like, wait, I could say he hit me. It's like, had that bright idea. Fall. And it's like, between her and that fan, when they had the security guard get Roxanne and the lady fell off the chair, fans need to work a little bit better on selling if they want to try to portray that, hey, I actually got hit by a wrestler. I want to try to sue the company. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they should sue the company, but if you get this on tape, everybody and their mom could see, like, you fell, like, 5 seconds after this. So it's like, we didn't get nothing from The Rock. And then Rock's just like, shut up about it. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's like saying, well, hey, I was only at Elimination Chamber because the tickets were low. And I was asked to come in about RE manual transmission. And then I was telling John and Cody that that's it for my involvement, the final boss involvement. I'm like, then there were better ways to go about this. The whole Cody soul leading up to the thing, and you know, there were better ways to sell your involvement at Elimination Chamber and kind of lead people on to thinking you were going to be at Mania. It's just like the word going around, I think it was PW Insiders, that it wasn't more so frustration, but confusion. Like, we got to this to get that. Like, when Mania ended and Cena just hit Cody in nuts and Travis Scott took, he basically had Undertaker entrance as far as length of time to get to the ring. It's like, everybody's like, okay, The Rock's coming. We will take Travis Scott only if it means it's going to lead to The Rock coming out. But when Cena just hit Cody in nuts, hit him with a belt and won the match, and then they went off with the credits, they didn't even pull like the old NXT trick that Rock, you know, Triple H used to like to do, where it's like a false finish and you play the credits and you show the little copyright thing, and then somebody comes out and there's a huge surprise. That was it. It's like, well, damn, that was nothing. I could have went to work for this. Rock no showing, not being there, is just like, this is almost worse than when he didn't show up for like some of those like anniversary Raw episodes, or you know, celebrations that they may have had. Like, at least you knew, okay, Rock's not there. We didn't have anything leading us to believe he would be there other than, hey, it's a 20th anniversary show or 25th anniversary Raw episode or anniversary of SmackDown, whatnot. 15th or 20th anniversary of SmackDown, whatnot. We got led to believe, based on the character work and the alignment of him with Cena, that we would get him involved, and he didn't show up. So I don't know what's going on with Rock. And at some point, some of the best heels in wrestling, I feel, always have a real life heel run. Like a moment where people legitimately don't like them. Triple H had it with his Reign of Terror, and people legitimately didn't like him in person for it. Like he was very political, and he basically defeated everybody from WCW, had everybody from WCW come in and beat him. I mean, Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, Sting, Booker T, Goldberg. You know what I mean? He beat Hogan on SmackDown, but I mean, Hogan out-politicked him and beat him for the belt. But more people remember Hogan beating him for the belt than him getting his win back on SmackDown. But it's like he brought in all the WCW people who should have been there during the Alliance, and then he got a win over them. So it's like people hated Triple H, legit. Stone Cold, I can't really say that with. A lot of people don't like that he had the incident with Deborah, the domestic incident with Deborah, and walked out. But that's WWE making you or gaslighting you into hating Stone Cold, because everybody still loves Stone Cold even after the Deborah incident. A lot of people don't hold that against him like they do with the shit that Hogan said. Hogan says the N-word, but he didn't put his hands on a woman. But Hogan just kept doubling down on being a piece of shit. I mean, lies and stuff like that, and, you know, just the shit with his family and whatnot. He had his real life heel turn, you know, where people legitimately don't like him now. Jericho and his, you know, his stuff with AEW. Now people don't legitimately like him. He's a real heel in real life, and now Rock is starting to have that. I mean, Vince is going through his, where people were like, fuck Vince in real life. But I feel like people are starting to feel that way with Rock, and I hate it. Because I love The Rock. I love The Rock. Rock was one of my favorite all-time wrestlers. He was one of the wrestlers, he was one of my guys. You know what I'm saying? SmackDown 2, No Mercy. I picked The Rock. I picked Shawn Michaels. I picked Stone Cold. I picked Jeff Hardy. So it's like, this is like Rock's real life heel run now too. And it's because he's like inserting himself in things and then not following through with them. Or things aren't making sense. Or when they do start to make sense, it's too little too late. And I don't think he can really revisit this, because now it's like, well, it doesn't make sense now if he shows up. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about the Rock situation. But the last thing I had here, it's like, damn, will it ever end? I guess you could go see the TLC match between Street Profits, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns. It's a match that I think if it happened on Mania, it probably would have been better than having the New Day versus the War Raiders on Mania. Because the War Raiders didn't get any response. I mean, I feel so bad for Hanson or Ivar doing the war thing, and nobody was saying it with him. Like, he was saying it so by himself that you could hear him clearly saying war. Like he was in a room with you. I'm like, I feel so bad for War Raiders. They probably need to go to AEW or something. There's a lot of people I could say, like, yeah, I probably need to go to AEW. Charlotte, I think, should go. Bailey, I think, should go. War Raiders, I think, should go. Shinsuke, I think, should go. And I hate to say it, but I think AJ should probably go to AEW, because he's not having the matches that you anticipate anymore. Like, you anticipate him and Logan Paul having a match that would have been the show stealer, but it didn't steal the show. You know, it was mostly Logan on offense, and, you know, AJ's not swift as he used to be in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So, I hate to say it, but my AJ ain't what he used to be, man. Even New Japan AJ, too. I think AJ's best in-ring work in WWE so far, his best match is still with Shane McMahon. You know what I mean? Like, 2016 to 2018. AJ's best work, maybe 2019, because he had the match with Brock, I think, in 2019. But right now, 2025, AJ is just, even he will probably admit, like, hey, I'm not what I used to be in the ring. But not taking away from him being one of the best to ever do it. You know what I mean? He's still up there with some of the best in-ring workers of all time, like Shawn and Eddie and Kurt and Brock Lesnar and Bret Hart and Daniel Bryan and, you know, Okada and Kenny and Ospreay of his generation. One of the best ever. And most influential wrestlers, too, because he's influential, you know, Ospreay and Kenny Omega. and inspire them to be what they are now, which kind of remind me. I mean, Kenny to a lesser extent because he slowed down too, especially after diverticulitis, but he still could put on a hell of a fucking match. I think AJ should probably go to AEW. I think he'll find his mojo back there. Maybe it's time for a new company. But same for Shinsuke. I don't know. But Shinsuke, he might just not be motivated. Maybe he need to go back and get a new company too. And then, after the death of his brother, and the gentleman from New Japan was like a mentor to him, he took some time off. I'm like, damn, Shinsuke was just starting to get his mojo back with that Ghost of Tsushima type gimmick he had. And he had to deal with some bereavement and lost the United States Championship because on sense it only made sense on TV for him to not have it if he was going to be out for a while. So, I don't know, man. Hopefully Shinsuke could come back with that gimmick because I like that gimmick. And that his look and the black mist and the eyeshadow. It's like, this is the best Shinsuke's visually looked and been presented in quite some time. But I think it's quite a few people that need to go to AEW to get their mojo back. This TLC match should have probably been on Mania. Only thing is, it was a little too spotty at some points. And God, I thought Chris Sabin was about to have his first knee injury in WWE because, Chris Sabin has probably got more knee injuries than Rey Mysterio, who's also out now, not from a knee injury for once, but from a groin tear similar to what Taker did back in 99, which led to him being out and coming back as the American Badass. So hopefully Rey could have a speedy recovery because that was really supposed to be Rey Mysterio instead of Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano at Mania. Look at this guy. Chad Gable wasn't even on Mania, but El Grande Americano was. Just keep shafting the guy. You keep shafting Chad Gable. I just don't think that's right or fair. And then this dude comes in. Two people had their first debut matches together at Mania. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like favoritism. It's just not right. But anyway, that match was okay. It was really good. It was a little spotty. And then there was a spear from the ladder from Angelo Dawkins to Ciampa through a table. But the table was set vertically, so it kind of made the bump look a little bit weird instead of being like a cross. But, I'm not... I mean, look at what happened with RVD one time. He did a leg drop to somebody through a table and almost got his eye impaled. So it's probably positional practicality is the reason why it was set up that way. But they retained the championships. And oddly enough, Fraxium made their debut on SmackDown. And I'm like, they probably would have been better to debut them on Raw. So it would make sense that they have aspiration to go for the titles against a heel team who deserves it. Because the tag team scene on SmackDown is way more stacked than Raw's is. So I think Fraxium would have been better on Raw. But that's just me. Anyway, I'm finally done. And I have fun doing this. Hopefully you have fun listening to me ramble and it wasn't too prolix for you. And I'll be back next Saturday with more Thoroughbred Thoughts. Take it easy, y'all.